Welcome to the SVG-TV news for Wednesday, October 14th. I'm Khalil Kato with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said he has invited the Caribbean Community CARICOM and the Commonwealth Secretariat to mount observer missions for the November 5th general elections in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Prime Minister made this announcement on his weekly NBC radio program today. He said that the CARICOM Secretary General has indicated that he will be putting together a team from the CARICOM countries that are in the travel bubble, which includes Barbados and OECS countries.
I even said to him in the letter, and I said to the Commonwealth Secretariat in the letter, given the challenges of COVID and the experiences which we had with, where we noticed in Trinidad, where people couldn't go in because they're not going to go in and quarantine for 14 days. So it's difficult to get people from high-risk countries. Anybody come from a Latin American country to come to St. Vincent, they have to quarantine for 14 days. So I even suggested maybe the Commonwealth and the OECS and the CARICOM could probably, if they want to have one mission.
The Prime Minister said that a local observer team is also making itself available, and Cabinet has approved funding for the local body.
I told them we also have our own local monitoring mission headed by the Christian Council. And by the way, the Christian Council budget, the National Consultative and Monitoring Mechanism, their budget for the election, they sent it and it was approved at Cabinet. I didn't question 1 cent of it.
For the 2015 general elections, the Organization of American States sent an observer mission, but Dr. Gonsalves says for a number of reasons he did not write to the OAS Secretary General requesting that a mission be sent.
For 2 reasons. One, if you bring in persons from outside this particular area, and you're going to go to 14 days, you're going to have the problem with like you have in Trinidad, where none of them could go. And of course, if we're doing the OAS, we'll have to do it with certain different conditions given the way in which Mr. Almagro, the Secretary General, has behaved in relation to, say, election observers in Bolivia, when there was a coup by election observer mission. So, and you know, I'm taking no chance with these sort of things. So if they have to come, there has to be, when I say taking no chance, I don't want anybody with any ulterior agenda. I just want people to come and observe the election and see what we are doing, conducting free and fair elections.
Persons who will be voting in the November 5th general elections are asked to use wisdom, not to campaign, wear party colors, or engage in conflict on election day. This advice came from Supervisor of Elections Dora James during NBC's face-to-face program on Tuesday.
On that day, it should be such a peaceful, loving day that you have an opportunity to wake up. God has given you that opportunity to get up and give you that opportunity also to go to the polls and make a decision. This is a democracy. It is something that we must uphold, our democratic right. And so you don't want to have to go to the poll putting on a color, you know, that is associated to a particular party that would act as some sort of intimidation or create that cause for some conflict or some toss-up. So just avoid it. Use wisdom.
In reference to the special registration period, which runs from October 10th to the 24th, James said the process has been ongoing in all 15 constituencies. She noted that a preliminary voters list has been published with the names of some 97,348 persons and encouraged those who will be voting to check the various locations in their constituency where these lists are posted for their names. She, however, warned that anyone who intentionally mutilates these documents can be charged with a criminal offense. The penalty is a fine of $750 or 3 months in prison.
And we had complaints before where persons would go, they see a list and they just get selfish and they tear it down. Or they tear off part of the list. I am under A and I want to see all my family members whose name I just stay off that part and walk with it. You have to remember that it is public information and everybody needs to have access. You know, the platform must be fair. It must be flat across the board that all of us can go and find that list wherever it is posted, whatever day, time of day, and that you didn't just go maliciously and move it.
Because again, it is foolish if you put it down that you have to be in prison for 3 months. You forfeit your right to even exercise your franchise. So, you know, leave it there and encourage people to go and look at it.
All right, well,
Noting that transfers have always had teething problems, James said that justices of the peace are usually responsible for transfers and advised that they do not give false information or sign the transfer document if they do not know the person requesting the transfer.
Ask them, you stamp it, yes. Stamping is a confirmation that I know this person. But we say, how long you know the person? There's approximately 2 years, 5 years. I know the person and I know that they are living in the constituency for that time. Let us use those information to endorse the fact that I put my stamp of approval, knowing that I know this person for 10 years. I know this person living in the constituency for more than 6 months.
Additionally, Supervisor, these forms are not available to candidates.
Yes.
They are only obtained from the registering officer. So candidates can't give you a transfer form. That's not their job at this particular time. They have other kind of responsibilities.
The Supervisor of Elections is urging persons not to flock to the office in Kingstown at this time for registration, noting that their hands are already full dealing with other matters.
Be mindful, understand. Right now we are making sure our list is out there. We are getting your documents prepared. Don't come and put additional pressure on the office to say that you want your registration done at the office. We prefer you to go to the field, go out there, let people see you participating in the exercise. Join with your colleagues out there and make sure that you do it and don't come and put additional pressure or create any conflict to get it done in the office.
Revenues for the month of September 2020 have reportedly increased by 3% when compared to the corresponding period for 2019. So says Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves while speaking on NBC Radio this morning. PM Gonsalves said that the total revenues for the year also increased, which speaks well of the handling of revenues.
Well, I'm pleased to report to you, at the end of September, by September the 30th, year on year, compared this year with last year, total revenue and grants are up 8.5% and current revenue up 3.4%. Last year up to the end of September, for revenue and grants, we had $431 million. We have now $468 million which we collected. For current revenue itself, up to the end of last year was $415 million, up to the end of September last year. At the end of this year is this year, $430 million.
However, the Prime Minister said that the total expenditure also increased by more than 100% when compared to the same period for 2019. But he pointed out that this was not because of the political season.
Of that amount, capital expenditure, current expenditure went up by 6.1% and capital expenditure by 122%. When you hear people saying they see construction going up all over the country and all kind of projects and so on and so forth, that's not election year. That's what had been planned in the normal course of our capital program. But we went to Parliament on April the 7th with a special salvation package for COVID, and you see it reflected in the outturn. Total expenditure went up from 498 at the end of 98 million from the end of September last year to 584 million at the end of September this year. Current expenditure, that is the money you pay to keep the plant, to keep the government running all the time, not the capital spending, moved from 451 million September last year to 479 million end of September this year.
The broken promises of the Unity Labour Party, ULP, should be the main reason why the electorate should vote the party out of office on November 5th. So says the NDP's candidate for East Kingstown, Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, who was addressing a village stop meeting in Murray's Village last evening.
The Unity Labour Party's footprint on this country is one of failure and failed promises. And that is why the New Democratic Party is well positioned to deliver as we have done in the past. They promised to deliver 9,000 jobs between 2015 and now. 9,000 jobs! But yet, St. Vincent and the Grenadines has one of the highest unemployment rates, not only in the region but in the world. And let's not talk about the unemployment rate of young people. You know, they're always talking about young people, and we have the young people following us, and we need the young people vote. And that thing really, I can't use the word, but it really is off. You know why? Because they behave as if young people are commodities. We just come in for your vote, and when we don't get your vote, to hell with you. What do they know about young people?
Reading from the ULP's manifesto of 2015, Bramble said the party failed to deliver on many of the projects outlined in the document, which he said was a contract to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines has the lowest wages in the OECS, the lowest. So how could we have economic growth? How could we have people enjoying a better quality of life when all these realities confront us? Because of the failed promises of the Unity Labour Party. If these guys, if they had built the new city out on Isvale, if they had built the National Stadium, if they had kept all the promises that they made, can you imagine how much employment that would have generated and how much more vibrant our economy would have been? So you can see the connection. Their failed promises have led to a dismal life for people in this country. And we have to change that. Time is up. Time is up, ULP. Time is up.
Speaking on the dengue outbreak in the country, Bramble said his opponent, who is Minister of Health, has failed in his duties and let the people down of East Kingstown and SVG on a whole.
2020, dying from dengue. Dengue is an easily preventable disease. I mean, and you know, to add insult to injury, the persons who contracted dengue, when they went down to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, they might as well just give up. It's so sad. So sad. And we have excellent healthcare professionals in this country. I am telling you. I feel for them the conditions under which they have to work. And my opponent is walking around talking about his time to shine. His time to shine. Can you believe that?
Meanwhile, the NDP's candidate for West Kingstown, Daniel Cummings, at the meeting last evening, said no one in SVG should have died due to dengue, as it is a preventable disease. He said that measures should have been put in place to keep the environment clean and destroy mosquito breeding sites.
Imagine to have people dying from dengue. The money you waste, so you clean up the roads. Get a few hundred people and train them to go around this country, removing all the receptacles that breed in mosquito in this country. That is how people who care think of that. That is what we need to do. Send out the brigades throughout the length and breadth of this country. Let them pick up all the plastic, all the bottles, all the containers that breed in the air these Egyptian Listen, I'm not going to charge them for that now, or they get them there by street. But their objective is not about the people, it's about grinding. And look at how they clean in the road. They're chopping down all the dirt and the grass and watering the drains.
Cummings suggested the reintroduction of the Best Village competition and the beautification of the island as part of measures to keep the environment clean.
Brothers and Because we know we have a lovely country. Kingston used to be the cleanest city in the Caribbean. Now it's the stinkest one. Look how many years they're supposed to clean up Little Tokyo. It rains in Kingston. During the dry season, they smell to the heavens. They don't clean them out. The rats running them up. But you know, it's a funny thing, you know, you have rats in government and rats throughout Kingston. Everywhere you go in Kingston, there's big rats. They're not red. But they're rats.
The ULP candidate for South Windward, Frederick Stevenson, said that over the last 10 years since his election as MP for the constituency, there has been progression and transformation. On Starbeat yesterday, Stevenson said that one of the major projects done was the Hilltop Road, which transformed the community into something fantastic.
As we have seen some progress in South Windward. The first major project I did as an MP in South Windward is what is called the Top Hill Road. And the Top Hill Road was the first major project because it transformed a nice small community into something fantastic. If you go up Top Hill now, you'd see the transformation up there. I remember using that road when I was a little boy going to the Bible Primary School. And it was a track and a deep gully. And now it is one of the best pieces of basic need trust fund road in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and in the region that persons from outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, from the CDB, in study the Top Hill Road. I've been here at this office and seen several persons come here and asking, they're from Trinidad, they're from Guyana, they're from Barbados, where is this? It's the most beautiful transformation in Bible.
Stevenson also highlighted other projects which he said helped transform South Windward, including the Argyle International Airport, the Stubbs Polyclinic, the Stubbs Police Station, and the Robaku project. Stevenson said his involvement in the church and community groups has helped to make him a good leader, knowing especially how to serve the people.
You know, as a Christian, you have to forgive and forget, because the harsh realities of politics generally sometimes can make you say and do things that your back have to be broad. Exactly, your back have to be broad, and that most of the times you have to turn the cheek and forgive persons for whatever they say and do to you. But that has also helped to lift me up. And when I go home at night and I lie down to sleep, I can rely on the words of the scripture that whatever you do and however you do it, once you believe that your service is done for God and for people, that you can rest well. Absolutely.
Other than the constituency of South Windward, Stevenson highlighted some projects and programs that he has done over his 10 years in active politics and as Minister of National Mobilization, Gender Affairs and the Youth.
Important program within the Ministry of National Mobilization, of which I'm the head, is the Home Health for the Elderly program. And this program was a brainchild of Sister Geraldine Miguel, who was then the minister, and it continued under myself over the last 10 years. And we have seen when this program was introduced, the opposition said, oh, you're going to send people into people's house to clean mess and that sort of stuff and so on. But over the years, we have seen how this program has benefited a number of the elderly citizens in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have over 112 at present time home care providers. And they have been doing a wonderful job to over 400, as I said before, of elderly persons.
A flood watch remains in effect for St. Vincent and the Grenadines until further notice. This as a tropical wave continues to affect the islands. Earlier this morning, a heavy downpour caused sections of Kingstown to be flooded within an hour, but the water later receded. The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, said there were no reports of persons being affected, neither were there any reports of major flooding or landslides. Meteorological forecaster at the SVG Met Services, Gregory Cato, told SVG-TV News that Kingstown experienced 2 inches of rain as a result of the tropical wave.
Particularly, the southwestern area of mainland St. Vincent was affected by an estimated 2 inches of rainfall within an hour this morning. This resulted in flash flooding in the capital, Kingstown. Rainfall accumulations of approximately 50 millimeters or 2 inches with isolated high amounts in mountainous areas are possible within the next 24-hour period. But it accumulated, so there was still, it was actually moderate to heavy. So it's more the intensity was the cause for this. Because we could have showers within an hour and still not get that amount. But because of the intensity, that's the reason why there was so much in terms of the accumulated amount.
Cato said the flood watch remains in effect based on the forecast, as it is likely that similar pockets of showers will be experienced in various communities.
A strong tropical wave with a low chance, that's 10% of tropical cyclone formation, will continue to affect the region within the next 24 hours. This, coupled with a favorable upper-level environment, increases the chance of additional pockets of moderate to heavy showers and thunderstorm activity across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thus, the flash flood watch remains in effect until further notice. A flash flood watch is issued when conditions are favorable and there exists the possibility of flooding during the watch period. Therefore, residents and motorists in areas prone to flooding and landslides or near rivers and streams should continue to exercise caution. This flash flood may be upgraded to a warning if conditions warrant.
The Scholarship Committee of the General Cooperative Credit Union, GECU, presented bursaries to 5 university students today. Last year, as the credit union celebrated its 55th anniversary, more students received bursaries valued at $5,000. Speaking at today's ceremony to present the awards, GECU President Harold Lewis said that recently 13 outstanding CPEA students received scholarships and 150 received cash bursaries. The president congratulated the university awardees for their outstanding achievements so far and wished them all the best in their academic pursuits.
Today, it is your turn to be awarded by your credit union in recognition of your determination, sacrifice, hard work, and commitment to excellence during your ongoing academic journey. Your success to date is aptly juxtaposed against the unprecedented challenges that you might have been experiencing personally or collectively, like the rest of us, due to the onset of the global pandemic, COVID-19, that has created far-reaching economic, financial, and social upheavals locally, regionally, and internationally. Despite this, you have done well, and you deserve to be commended for your effort thus far.
And the new CEO of GECU, Rohan Stowe, noted the importance of the function, which dealt with 2 of his greatest professional passions.
Reason. It brings together 2 of my greatest professional passion, which is love for these indigenous type financial institutions, and of course economic policy making, being an economist. As was said before by both Brother Daniel and Harold, it is important because it's a celebration of GECU's commitment to not only building the capacity of individuals, which better prepares them to effectively participate in a modern global economy, but it is also a commitment to our broader goal of socio-economic development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Stowe also said that these education scholarship programs fulfill a broader social goal for GECU and contributes to human and social development.
In the second area where we make a major contribution is that through these educational programs, GECU fulfills a broader social goal and facilitate the achievement of increased social justice through human and social development. So in short, we take our social responsibilities very seriously and endeavor to support the cooperative principles of extending social justice to both individual members and the nation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a whole. And the third area, it's sort of a nuance, but it's a spin-off from being part of a cooperative endeavor. I call it the third area through which we contribute to nation building and national development is through the development of social capital. And Daniel, you would have mentioned it, but it's a complicated concept.
Meanwhile, Deputy Chief Education Officer Dixon Finley expressing pride, however, said that he was a little disappointed that the number of bursaries were reduced from 11 to 5. He expressed hope that next year there will be an increase to 7 or more.
Hoping that next year I'm challenging the board so that you can move it from 5 to 6 or 7, because there are so many students out there who are seeking help and who need that support. The Ministry of Education and the government have an excellent student loan program, but you know, some students, they need that support. So although we have the student loan program, we welcome all the grants that students can receive, because education is expensive. When I went to the University of the West Indies at K-Phil, my student loan was $40,000. So the $40,000 might be a semester. So I want to congratulate all of the recipients.
Police have arrested and charged Zakim Bess, a 26-year-old fisherman of Paget Farm, Beckway, with attempted murder. A news release from the police say the accused allegedly, with the intent to commit the offense of murder, shot a 32-year-old laborer also of Paget Farm, Beckway, with a flare gun in his neck. The incident occurred at Paget Farm at about 10:50 on Friday, October 9th. Bess is expected to appear before the Serious Offences Court for arraignment. Meanwhile, Aaron Sterling of Clifton, Union Island, and Alaski Samuel of Redemption Sharps were arrested and jointly charged with the offense of robbery. The accused men, allegedly being armed with guns, robbed a 23-year-old sea captain of Clifton, Union Island, of 3,000 euros and 100 EC dollars in cash. The incident is said to have occurred at Union Island on October 6th. The accused men appeared before the Serious Offences Court to answer to the charge and pleaded not guilty. Sterling was granted bail in the sum of $12,000 with one surety, while Samuel was granted bail in the sum of $30,000, also with one surety. Both men were additionally ordered to surrender all travel documents and report to the Union Island and Central police stations, respectively, every Monday between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Sterling will reappear in court on January 28th, while Samuel will reappear on October 19th.